Hello everyone, my name is Mu79. Today I've got a bit of a different video. So I've set up a new account, as you can see in the top right of the screen. No, I haven't been reset. No, I haven't blown all of my credits and all of my mileage points. In fact, I'm buying my first Group 3 car, and because Daily Race B is dominated by the McLaren F1, it's the car I am going to purchase. So the support on the recent videos has been pretty good, so thank you. Really motivates me when I get positive comments. So we're going to change to the McLaren F1, and in this first race, starting 13th, I've just hopped in with zero practice. I have no idea where to brake, when to turn in. All I know is that I'm in the lobby full of noobs. So behind the Lamborghini Huracan here, which is probably going to get absolutely mullered on the straight, but we'll see, maybe it'll be handy, I'm not sure. Anyway, the McLaren F1 iconic car is just absolutely brilliant, no doubt about it. So anyway, we already took it into Citroen. We're going to fly past the Citroen. No idea why he's chosen that car for this race. Also going to go past the Lamborghini and the 911. So up into 10th place, and there's a gaggle of cars up in front, so braking really early because I have no idea when to brake. There's about 3 cars ghosted, and there's about 4 or 5 cars coming back onto the track. We're getting an extra position, so we're up into P9 as the Ferrari gets squeezed out into the wall. And is he going to do the same to me, or is he just going to leave me enough space? But we're going to brake early. Now here, penalties being dished out everywhere. We've got the German in the BMW with a 2-second penalty, the Italian with a 1.5 second, and you've also got some penalties behind. So trailing the Peugeot here, as the Italian gets another 1.5 second penalty, as does the Brit. So up into P8, fairly easy move there. So braking just on the 50 board and really flicking the car in as the German goes wide, and there's nowhere for us to go, so we're going to have to back out. But here, it's about 3 or 4 cars serving a penalty, so hopefully we'll gain a lot of places from that. So we go past 1, we go past 2, there's about 5 cars ghosted, so we go into the back of the German. Sorry for my skill. Well, I think you should apologise for your lack of skill, because he was just blocking the middle of the track. You know, normally in a high rated lobby you would kind of go to the left hand side when you're serving a penalty, but not in these lobbies. No chance. So we pull alongside the German, and it's going to be an easy move. There's a Frenchman storming through, and with that straight line speed, I assume it's a McLaren F1, and we just look to the right, and yeah, it is a McLaren. And now we could possibly both overtake the Dutchman in 2nd place. And because this car is so good in the straight line, we just both absolutely swamp him. And into the first corner, braking relatively late. And we're going to go down the inside and take 2nd place. However, the Frenchman gets a really good cutback, so it is going to be side by side into turn number 4, is it? Quite hard to tell. So anyway, pounding up the hill and braking just before the 50 board, and we're just going to keep 2nd place. But here, the gap behind is only 2 tenths, and he's actually going to gain on us down this mini straight. But here, it's almost flat out. Maybe if you get it dead right, you can take it without lifting off. But this corner right here, it's pretty much the same as the right-hander before. As the Frenchman's alongside, he just forces us into the wall. So unfortunately, we are going to lose a lot of time. But I'm pretty sure he's got a penalty, so thankfully we will not be at threat of losing our 2nd place. You know, honestly, I did try and leave him as much space as possible as he serves his penalty. As we go into the wall, bit of a rookie error that. Should have looked where I was going. As we go around the final corner, on the power as early as possible, this car is really good on acceleration, just in the handling and mid-apex where it sort of struggles. But for this race, you can't pick any other car. You can only pick the McLaren. It's just no debate. As I'm gonna whip it forward here, and yeah, at the end of the race, nothing else happened. We just stayed in second. But anyway, moving on to the next race. Back again in the McLaren F1. So this time starting 14th, so there's only 2 cars behind us this time. But there's a BMW M6 in front of us, so this should be quite interesting, I would think anyway. So anyway, up to the start, and this thing just sounds so brilliant. It's honestly my favourite engine of all time. Just in front of the Mazda 777B rotary engine, just absolutely awesome. As the Frenchman's weaving all over the track, because you just can't get past him anyway, he just comes that off, so I'm just going to nudge him. And into the first corner, we just want to brake super early, so that we don't get caught off. As there's an absolute missile, I'm pretty sure the brake forgot to brake. That, or he just didn't want to, just felt like going into the wall. So the Frenchman is holding us up here quite badly, so we're going to try and force him into a dummy move. So we're going to go to the left and try and make him run wide, and that's exactly what he's done. And he's going to get 1.5 second penalty. Unfortunately, on the way back, he rebounds onto me and he goes into the wall, and we pick up a 1 second penalty. As there's a lot of cars getting caught up in the action here, and you can just see there's 3 cars into the wall at the same time, and unfortunately we just had the Russian for about 1 second before he ghosted, and we're going to get another penalty. As the Spaniard in the Evo slams into the wall and they're not following through. If you're going with the Evo in this race, you might as well just hop in the toaster and enjoy yourself, because there's no point doing this race if you're in the Evo, especially when you have that massive straight that takes about 40 seconds to complete. Anyway, round the final corner, early on the power. To be fair, I could have gone on the power a little bit early, just needed to nail my line. As we fly past the Evo, no real worries there. So we're just going to whip it forward to the first braking zone. And you want to brake just before the 150 board. At this point in my little session, I was starting to get to grips with when to brake and when to turn it, as we just avoid that thing on the left hand side. And the Dutchman is quite angry because he was trying to force the Spaniard into the wall. He's going to do the same to me and get another penalty. Pretty well deserved, if you ask me. You know, don't just shove people into the wall. Although I suppose in these E-rated lobbies, no one really has much logic, as the Dutch is going to try to squeeze us into the wall once more, but thankfully we just get past, and now we can set our sights on the Spaniard, who also has a penalty. We gained so much time through there. Admittedly, this is a lower rated lobby, but still, it's crazy how much time you can gain on these drivers. As he goes wide, he's going to smack into the wall, and unfortunately, on the way out, he just kind of blocks our path, and we get another 1 second penalty. But then the lag gods have come into play, and he's just going to be sent 50 metres in front. But thankfully, he serves his penalty and we can move on. So round the penultimate corner, just smacking into the wall. Not really the greatest thing to do, in my opinion. You know, there's a lot of better ways to take that corner. As we're just going to skip down the main straight once again. It's so long. I mean, I guess that could also be used as a metaphor to something else. However, I'm not going to do that, as the Turkish driver goes very wide, so we're all very bunched up here, not particularly following social distancing guidelines. You know, 2 seconds away please, as the Swiss driver thinks better of kind of tucking it behind, and he's going to let us go, and we're going to move up into P4. However, the Turkish driver is really slow through the section, and hopefully we can capitalise on that. So just tapping the wall on the way in, maybe not the fastest way through the corner. However, he goes extremely wide and he's going to lose a lot of speed and momentum. But he just blocks off very nicely. And he's going to actually take that fairly nicely. Didn't gain all too much, but we're going to go wide and try and get a better run through this sequence of corners. So just a hit of a lift before the third to last corner. We're just going to serve our penalty. You know, the penalty zone on this track isn't too bad, as it is just before a braking zone anyway. If it was at the start of the straight, then that would be the worst penalty zone known to man. As we fly past the Nissan, he did kind of make a big mistake on the exit of the final corner. So now we can try and chase down the turn. Just look at this. This is how OP the McLaren F1 is, because at the start of the straight we were 8 tenths behind, not in the slipstream. But now we're in the slipstream, we're just gaining so much time. The gap's 6 tenths, 5 tenths, 4 tenths, almost down to 3 tenths now, 2 tenths, 1 tenth, and we just pull out a bit too late and smack into the back of him. And here I'm pretty sure he got a penalty for that. If anything, I should have got a penalty, but no one should have, because it's just racing incident. But he takes out his anger on me, and he's just going to pile drive me into the cones on the left hand side of the track, and both of them get a penalty for some reason. Maybe the penalty system is a little bit drunk, just a hint. Maybe they had a shot or two before this race. But we've got to try and get past these two driving now, so braking early, maybe they'll go into the wall and lose even more time. So get a nice kind of run out of the corner, maybe not the best, but again, I haven't done too much practice, I've just hopped in these races. As a Swiss driver goes very slowly through the apex, and we just have to kind of slam on the brakes, of which the McLaren does not have many, because the brakes on this car are not the best, to say the least. As we get a 2-second penalty, we kind of went for the move on the inside of the chicane, and unfortunately I think he just grazed the wall, so we're going to pick up a 2-second penalty. However, on this account it doesn't really matter, it's fresh anyway, so there's not much really to care about. But here the gap's about 8 tenths to the Swiss driver, Lamni S, or is that 5? I can't quite tell. But here the gap's about 8 tenths. This is just how broken the McLaren is. We also did get a much better exit, however it's also kind of down to suck forces, so we're just gonna gain so much time, it's not even funny anymore, and we're just gonna absolutely fly past and into 3rd place. Not a bad result, considering we did have a lot of drama, a lot of crashes in that race. So Beetle actually coming home to take the victory, and there was a McLaren F1 in 2nd as well. Anyway, in the last one, starting in 15th position. So this is going to be a very interesting one, because starting a little bit further back than what I'm used to. So perhaps I'll be one of those people to forget to brake, and maybe I will be sent to the Shadow Realm. Anyway, 3, 2, 1 and go. And there's an Audi R8 in front of us, so he might as well just leave, because that car will get him absolutely nowhere. Not even 10 seconds into the race and we're already almost side by side. Easy peasy, might as well just give up. And we're also going to fly past the Supra as well, so that's 2 in 1 basically. So within 20 seconds of the race starting, already up 2 places without even going into the corner. So we've got a Dodge there going rather slowly as the Brit forgets to brake, so either his brakes have failed or his mind has failed, as the Dodge is just going to get us on the outside on the way out of the first corner. Already penalties are up in front, so hopefully we can also gain some places from them. But at this point I'm definitely relatively familiar with where I'm supposed to brake, as we gain almost 2 places, but we just don't quite, as the McLaren oversteers on exit and we get a little bump from behind, so up into 11th. We've got a BMW in front and he's smacked into the wall, so that's another easy position. And there's also BMW M3 with a 1 second penalty. Turk having a very sad demise, it seems, as the Belgian in front gets a 1.5 second penalty. It's all kicking off. So going to the right hand side so we can get the cutback. Thankfully we ghost through the Turk and we're up into 9th place. And make that 8th because the Belgian serves this penalty, as do a lot of other cars, so up into 6th place. I'm almost 5th, but Hugo Neymar just manages to stay in front for now. So get the cutback on exit, and he oversteers into the wall, so it's going to be an easy 5th place. But here, there's an Alfa Romeo in front of us, and I was very surprised to see this car in front of me. However, it's got basically no top end, so we're just going to absolutely fly past. No issue there. However, this is a surprising thing. Instead of just pulling away, he tucks into my slipstream, and he's actually going to keep up. So this is a bit of a revelation, because until this point, no one was really utilising the slipstream. And he's actually gaining on us in that Alfa Romeo, which I definitely was not expecting. So he's going to go into the right hand side, and he's actually going to go for the move. He brakes basically on point. However, we get the easy cutback and it's back up into P4. However, very good driving from the Belgian there. Respect to you, sir. So anyway, up into P4. The gap to 3rd is about 1.7 seconds. However, with everyone being a couple seconds slower a lap, we should be able to capitalise on this and gain a lot of time. As the German goes very wide and he loses about half a second. Maybe upwards of 3/4 of a second, almost taking the right handle completely flat, just hitting the lift at the end. So down into 4th, and it's pretty clear he is struggling a lot in that 4 GT. So we're going to look for the move and go down the inside. So anyway, chasing 2nd now, the Malta driver just up in front in the 911, if you could just see there. And it seems as though the Italian in front has in fact made an error, because we gained 2 seconds spontaneously, it seems, as the Ferrari has served a penalty, presumably for smacking into the wall. But here, it's going to be very easy to gain lots of time on it. But here, just look at the difference to the leader. So it was about 1.6 at the start of the straight. And here we're just going to fly past the Ferrari with basically no competition there. But now we're going to try and chase down the leader, and hopefully we can get it done sooner rather than later, because honestly you want to kind of avoid, you know, kind of be behind slower cars. We've reached about 180 miles an hour there, which is absolutely crazy. That's Group 2 levels of speed, and that's in a Group 3 car. So into the braking zone, braking just on the 150 board, pretty much spot on there. And then gone on the power pretty late, could have gone on the gas a bit earlier, but 3/10 up in the first split, so we are definitely gaining time. The gap is still 7/10 though, so if I make one mistake, that's it, it's over. And we're going to have to do all that work to catch up once more. However, really nailing the exit of the corner, so thankfully, if we do make a mistake, now we will kind of have a bit of breathing space. So through the fast tight section, not the best run through the left-hander, could have taken that a lot better, admittedly. However, through the chicane, this sequence is so fun, because you're right on the limit. This track could be compared in some ways to perhaps your Korea, what's the name of it? Yongyam, I think it is. Because you've got that massive straight, plus you also have a lot of twisty bits. So it is quite similar in that regard. However, we are just going to skip forward here, because this is on the last lap, and just going through the right-hander pretty nice through there, just about avoiding one, but we just go way too hot into next corner, and we get a 1.5 second penalty. However, at this point, the gap behind is 5.5 seconds. So hopefully we will not drop down into second place. However, you never know, maybe I could just absolutely bottle it somehow. So serving our penalty, you don't actually lose too much time compared to some other penalty zones in the game. So round the penultimate corner, going out wide and then cutting back for the late apex and out wide, and that's going to be the end of the video basically. So if you did enjoy, like and subscribe. You know, I'm trying to get to 200 subscribers, so if you could help me by clicking that subscribe button, that would really help. You can also check out my last video with the TC card in the top right. But until then, take care everyone, and goodbye.